This is The Informed Traveler on QR77. I'm Randy Sharman. Romance is in the air. Valentine's Day is only a couple of days away, and lots of people think about tying the knot on Valentine's. What about having a destination wedding? To tell us how to plan one is Alison McGill. She's the editor-in-chief of Wedding Bells magazine. Their website is weddingbells.ca. Good morning, Alison.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for doing this. Valentine's Day right around the corner, so romance is in the air. And to start, for simplicity's sake, let's just start with a definition of what a destination wedding is.
Well, a destination wedding is pretty much exactly what you think it is. It's basically taking the wedding on the road and going to an exotic location, whether that be tropical. Destination doesn't have to necessarily be out of the country. You could be from the East Coast, get married on the West Coast of Canada, and Europe and beyond. We've seen all different sorts of destination weddings happening at Wedding Bells.
I was just looking on your website, which is weddingbells.ca, and the story, a dreamy Saskatoon wedding. So that would be a destination wedding if you're not from Saskatoon, I guess, right?
Absolutely.
So how popular are they?
Destination weddings, I've been at Wedding Bells for 10 years, and 10 years ago they were a very, very niche market that we were seeing people going away and getting married. And I would say that has, grown exponentially. It's certainly still not the bulk of the wedding market, but, we're seeing sort of, we do a reader survey every year, and we've been doing it for 6 years, and we've seen that number grow incrementally. So, it is something that a lot of couples are looking at, and there's a lot of reasons why. One, it's great to sort of take your party on the road, and if you're going to an exotic location, whether it be a beach or Europe or, the Rocky Mountains, whatever that looks like for you, it's a beautiful backdrop. It makes your wedding different, which is key element for so many couples these days. They want to have a unique celebration. And, believe it or not, a destination wedding actually can be more cost effective.
Okay.
We're talking about, when you're looking at a destination wedding, they're generally not as large as your typical wedding where you're inviting sort of an average of, the average Canadian wedding bells we've costed out is, about 120 guests are coming. So destination party is typically much smaller. Guests pay to come to your wedding, so there's, you're not putting out costs for that. And so many places now are tapping into this trend of the destination wedding where you can go to a resort and get an absolutely fantastic wedding package. Sometimes they even include airfare. Resorts and hotels and travel operators are thinking smart in this marketplace.
And I think that's one of the things is if you're a guest and you're being invited to someone's wedding and it's down in some exotic area in the Caribbean or Mexico or wherever, you can sort of combine it with a vacation.
Absolutely. So as a guest, you can combine that as a vacation, and as the couple that's getting married, if you're having a destination wedding, you're combining your wedding and your honeymoon. So again, there's the cost savings.
Now, I suppose the flip side is that you may not get as many gifts because people are spending money just to get to your wedding, right?
Absolutely. And the rule of thumb is with gift giving is you give a gift because you want to, but not because you have to. We get asked that a lot of questions about what's the price point for gifts and things like that. So you really have to be mindful when you are inviting people to your wedding of what you are expecting them to pay, and that of course is something you may not get as many gifts, but you're getting like a fantastic party at a great location, and you hopefully surrounded by the people that are most important in your life. Yeah,
exactly. So if I'm planning a destination wedding, here's the $1 million question: where would I begin?
Well, it's first starting point is, really think about where you want to go, and everybody has their different sort of travel styles. So really look at yourselves as a couple and say, if we were going to go on location, where would we like to go? I find typically most couples who do want a destination wedding, they inherently know where they want to go. They know they want to go to the sun. If they want to go to Europe, they know specifically the destination in Europe. So it's really sort of about looking at your travel style and looking at kind of, what you want and what you want to see for the backdrop of your wedding day.
Okay.
And then from there, it's just sort of destination weddings definitely take a lot more research because you're planning, this big event that's outside of your home and comfort zone. So you really have to dig deep, do lots of research, and figure out exactly, what type of hotel you're looking for, what type of venue you're looking for, what you want to see in this destination wedding. The next step is working with wedding planners or contacting those properties that you're looking at, and most of them have wedding specialists on hand that can sort of help you out, give quotes, and, just before you make any decisions about anything, research.
Do your homework. What about specific dates? And I'm thinking about dates to avoid, like around Christmas where it's going to be busy anyways, and some of the high season.
Yeah, I think in Canada, the weddings that we happen here at home are typically in the warmer weather. So we're all weather dependent in Canada. So typically everybody wants to go away to a warm place in the wintertime for a wedding. So yeah, it's the obvious ones like you've mentioned. Avoid Christmas, avoid New Year's. Spring break is never a good idea if you're going south. So, look at off seasons as well. I mean, I was in Bahamas last June and there was tons of destination weddings going on while I was there. Now typically that's not their high season, but you can get a little bit of a break on the price. It's just a little warmer.
Now, what about some of the other pitfalls to avoid? What are some of the things you may not be thinking of, and then all of a sudden they hit you last minute kind of thing?
Well, I think with a destination wedding, you have to be a little bit prepared for surprises because, again, you're not planning this event at home where you live. So there is that distance thing. Mm-hmm. So I think you have to have a little bit of a built-in patient shield, if you like, because you may not have the microcontrol that you could have here if you're planning a wedding at home. So you just have to, make sure that when you're signing up for a destination wedding and you're dealing with venues and service providers, make sure you have contracts, make sure you've reviewed them, you've gone over everything. You just kind of have to, again, do your research and your homework and be as best prepared as you can. But like any wedding day, whether it's here or away, expect things can happen. And, life isn't smooth, so there's bumps in the road. So, again, you have to kind of roll with that.
Mm-hmm. And I guess even sort of the logistics, I've seen this happen a few times or witnessed this of brides trying to get their dress down there, and they're carrying this big dress on the airplane with them.
Yes. It's a good job to call ahead if you are transporting your dress and it's delicate and you don't want to pack it in your regular luggage, which most brides don't. Call ahead to the airline, and oftentimes they will make room, like in the cabin space for you. Like even if you're not traveling in business class, they will often hang it in the closet up there. But it's a good idea to give them a heads up. I find airlines are very accommodating with that kind of thing.
And what about the legalities? Not all countries treat destination weddings the same, right?
They don't. So again, that's where the research comes in, because if you're, different countries have different parameters. Sometimes you have to be in the country for X amount of days before you can get married, or you can obtain, a license beforehand. So, that differs in the United States. That differs from state to state. Of course, it differs from country to country. So, doing your homework and, that can take a little bit extra legwork, especially if you're going overseas.
I bet. Now, you did touch on the resorts. Some resorts are better than others, I would think, yeah?
Yeah, but again, it's something for everyone, and it's about sort of doing your research. If you're looking for something more casual, you might not go for such a luxury formal property. Again, it depends what you're looking for, and the size of the party you're having. A lot of people, when they have a destination wedding, they keep it really intimate, like they elope to a destination wedding. That's also another option that can be nice if you just want to keep it between the two of you. And we've actually seen a lot of Hollywood stars have been doing that in recent years, and it's interesting because they just, escape to Fiji and tie the knot, and we see it in People magazine. Do
some of the resorts provide their own photographers now, or do you bring one down with you? How does that work?
Either or. I've seen both scenarios. Most resorts, if they do offer destination wedding packages, offer the whole gamut where you can get flowers, hair, makeup, photography, all of that. But some people prefer to source the photographer, and they will travel with them.
How far in advance should I be planning this? And sometimes it's tough because if you plan too far in advance, it's hard to get pricing because some of the resorts don't have their pricing a year in advance, and some of the tour operators, right? Right.
Again, it doesn't hurt even if they come back to you and say, we don't have those prices settled. I would say that most people, when they're dealing with in the weddings market, because people do typically plan a year out in advance, most properties will have their pricing for their packages and things like that. So it's never too early to start, and it's actually more stressful the later you start. So get a leg up on it.
And I suppose the more people you're inviting, the more in advance you want to do this.
Absolutely. So if you are having a destination wedding, it's often good to give people the heads up, because that kind of segues into another thing, because sometimes when people are engaged, there's expectations of that you will be invited to a wedding. Well, typically a destination wedding is smaller, so you may not get an invitation to that wedding. And also, if you are expecting guests to travel, they need as much heads up as possible. So a save the date is essential.
To touch on some of the destinations you mentioned, sort of a broad spectrum. Is there one or two destinations that are really popular, and for what reasons are they popular?
I'm seeing a lot of diversity when it comes to it. I think Canadians typically do love to go to the warmth. So we're seeing a lot of celebrations happening in Mexico, and Cuba is big. Grand Cayman is a great place for a wedding. I was just down there in November, and there's an absolutely fantastic destination wedding planner on the island there, and they do amazing things. Hawaii is popular. Basically all of those sun destinations, they all have, a big appetite for this destination wedding market, and Canadians definitely feed into that.
Lots and lots of advice. The website is weddingbells.ca, and an interesting story. I'm from Saskatoon. This is why I'm joking about this. The story on there right now is a dreamy Saskatoon wedding. Not that there's anything wrong about Saskatoon and weddings, but
it is very dreamy.
Not quite the beach atmosphere, though, that some people think about, though.
No, and I will say Wedding Bells has just launched a new special edition. It's called Wedding Bells Weddings, where we profile 16 real weddings of Canadian couples. It comes out February 20th, and we have two absolutely amazing destination weddings in there. One was in Bahamas and one was in Spain, and they are absolutely fantastic eye candy.
Very nice. Alison McGill is the editor-in-chief of Wedding Bells magazine. Again, the website's weddingbells.ca. Lots of information, not just about destination weddings, but weddings in general and all kinds of advice. I thank you for your time, Alison.
Thank you, Randy.